Welcome back, fight fans. Combat sports have always thrived on rivalries, and boxing in particular is built on the kind of rivalries that push fighters to the absolute edge of their limits. Few modern matchups have captured the raw intensity like the showdown between Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol, a clash that pits unrelenting power against calculated precision, sheer aggression against surgical strategy. Their first fight wasn't just a title bout. It was an electrifying 12-round symphony of brutality and brilliance, leaving fans in awe and critics scrambling to find words that did it justice. When Betebiev emerged victorious that night, it wasn't just another win, it was a statement. But for Bivol, that loss wasn't an end. It lit a fire within him, a refusal to let his story be defined by that one night. And now, on February 22nd in Riyadh, these two titans are set to collide once again, in a rematch that feels more like destiny than sport. This isn't just about belts or even legacy. It's personal. For Bivol, it's about rewriting history, reclaiming his place among boxing's greats. For Betebiev, it's an opportunity to solidify his reign as one of the most devastating forces in the sport's history. When they first met, it was a battle of wills as much as skills. Betebiev's aura of invincibility collided with Bivol's icy composure, creating a contest that tore through reputations and revealed vulnerabilities. From the opening bell, Betebiev fought like a storm personified, every punch thrown with a destructive intent. But Bivol, ever the tactician, kept his cool, using his jab like a conductor's baton to disrupt Betebiev's rhythm. The early rounds were like a chess match, played with hand grenades. Bivol's footwork was painting angles where Betebiev's relentless body shots felt like earthquakes beneath their feet. But as the rounds ticked by, Betebiev's unrelenting pressure began to break through Bivol's clinical approach. By the championship rounds, the cracks started to show. For the first time, Bivol looked vulnerable, his typically calm demeanor replaced by hints of doubt as Betebiev's power took over. When the final bell rang, Bivol had suffered his first career defeat, but it wasn't just a loss. It was the birth of a question that has haunted fans and fighters alike. Can Bivol evolve and turn the tables, or is he destined to be another victim of Betebiev's highlight reel? For Bivol, this rematch isn't just a fight. It's a chance to redefine who he is. The man who once dismantled Canelo Alvarez with surgical precision now finds himself labeled as a cautious technician, a label he's determined to shake off. "I know what I must do," Bivol has said in interviews, his voice tinged with quiet intensity. This time, there will be no hesitation. But the doubters remain. Critics point to his lack of highlight reel knockouts, arguing that his measured, methodical approach lacks the explosiveness needed to dethrone someone like Betebiev. They recall how Bivol seemed to retreat into survival mode in the later rounds of their first fight, relying on clinches and defensive tactics to make it to the final bell. But those critics overlook Bivol's moments of brilliance. Take his dismantling of Gilberto Zudo Ramirez, where his precision counters and defensive genius turned a feared brawler into a spectator. Or his systematic destruction of Lyndon Arthur, where pinpoint body shots crumbled the Brit. Bivol's genius lies in his ability to control a fight, to disassemble his opponents piece by piece. The real question is whether the patience can coexist with the urgency this rematch demands. And then there's Betebiev, a man who seems less like a boxer and more like a force of nature. His 21-0 record with 20 knockouts reads like a nightmare for light heavyweights. But to call him just a power puncher would be an insult to the calculated brutality he brings to the ring. Look at his 2-round demolition of Joe Smith Jr., where every punch landed with surgical precision, dismantling Smith's defenses until his corner had no choice but to throw in the towel. Or his fight with Caleb Smith, where Betebiev methodically broke him down with thudding body shots before ending it with chilling efficiency. Even Anthony Yarde, who gave Betebiev trouble in the early rounds, ultimately learned that the champion's relentless engine does not falter. By the 8th round, Yarde's legs were gone, and his corner stepped in to save him from further punishment. Yet, even in his dominance, Betebiev isn't invincible. Their first fight revealed cracks in the armor. Betebiev admitted after the bout that Bivol's cleverness gave him trouble. "He's clever," he said, with a rare nod of respect. "But next time, I'll be cleverer." The rematch hinges on these adaptations. At 40, can Betebiev refine his approach, cutting off the ring more effectively? Or will Bivol's rumored adjustments, focused on body attacks and clinch work, neutralize the champion's onslaught? Reports from Bivol's camp hint at grueling strength and conditioning drills, aiming to match Betebiev's physicality while maintaining his speed and precision. Meanwhile, whispers from Betebiev's team suggest that he's been sharpening his footwork and integrating more feints to disrupt Bivol's rhythm. Both camps know the stakes. This fight isn't just about settling a rivalry, it's about defining their legacies. The cultural stakes here are undeniable. Both fighters represent the rich, unforgiving boxing traditions of the Eastern Bloc, but their approaches couldn't be more different. Dmitry Bivol is the embodiment of Soviet-era discipline, a tactician whose every move feels like part of a grandmaster's strategy. Calculated, deliberate, and devastatingly precise. Artur Beterbiev, on the other hand, represents the primal roots of the sport. Though equally disciplined, his style is raw and unrelenting, a vivid reminder that, at its core, boxing is a fight, not a game. This philosophical clash, art versus aggression, calculation versus chaos, evokes echoes of legendary rivalries like Ali versus Frazier or Gatti versus Ward, where opposing ideologies were tested in the most brutal and unforgiving arena. As the rematch approaches, the anticipation is evident. Promoters are pitching it as a legacy-defining moment, but the reality is much more simpler. This is survival. For Bivol, another loss risks relegating him to the purgatory of fighters who were almost great, forever haunted by what could have been. For Beterbiev, defeat would shatter the aura of invincibility that has defined his career. Beyond personal stakes, the light heavyweight division watches eagerly, yearning for a definitive hero. A win for Betebiev cements his place among the all-time knockout kings, while a Bivol victory could signal the dawn of a new era defined by technical mastery. Behind the scenes, the mental games have already begun. Eddie Hearn, Bivol's promoter, has been loudly framing their first bout as a robbery rather than a hard-earned defeat. Aggression was rewarded over artistry, he argues, though replays tell a more balanced story. Meanwhile, Beterbiev's camp has stayed icy and resolute, offering a simple retort: let the fist decide. Even the trainers are locked in battle, meticulously analyzing every frame of their first encounter. Bivol's team is zeroing in on Beterbiev's rare moments of imbalance, while Beterbiev's corner is preparing for Bivol's tendency to retreat when the pressure becomes relentless. One of the most fascinating questions is stamina. Beterbiev's relentless pace and late-round surges have broken many men, turning what seemed like competitive fights into ruthless finishes. But Bivol's conditioning is legendary, a product of his grueling amateur days where endurance wasn't just an asset but a necessity. If Bivol can weather Beterbiev's early onslaught, does he have the gas tank to outlast the champion? Or will those signature body shots, Beterbiev's rib-crushing left hooks, sap his energy by the fight's midpoint? Then there's the intangible factor, psychology. Bivol's quiet demeanor hides a fire, an almost desperate need to prove that precision and skill can triumph over sheer power. Meanwhile, Betebiev, calm and composed, carries himself with the confidence of someone who has never tasted defeat. Their final press conference was a masterclass in tension. No trash talk, no theatrics, just the heavy silence of two men who know exactly what's at stake. Bivol's piercing gaze never left Betebiev, while the champion's faint smile betrayed none of his intentions. This isn't just a fight, it's a collision of wills, with legacy as the ultimate prize. As the hours tick down, Riyadh has become the epicenter of the boxing world. The undercard is stacked with exciting matchups, a tantalizing appetizer before the main event. For the fans, this is more than just a night of boxing. It's an experience, a moment in history they'll recount for years. Those who witnessed their first fight still speak of it with reverence, a mix of awe and disbelief. The rematch promises to be even greater, a spectacle of two evolved warriors, each hungrier, sharper, and more dangerous than before. So, what will it be? Will Bivol's reinvention shock the world and deliver the redemption he so desperately craves? Or will Beterbiev's fist carve another chapter into his already legendary career? The truth will be revealed under the bright lights, where pride, pain, and purpose intersect. One thing's for sure, this fight will echo through boxing history. Get ready, fight fans. February 22nd isn't just a date, it's a moment. Please don't forget to like the video, share your thoughts in the comments, and make sure you're subscribed for more breakdowns. When these two titans collide, you won't want to miss a second of the action. Until next time, fight fans.